the male protagonist Setsu once again gets summoned to another world. However, his former female subordinate does not recognize him in time, so he directly pats her ass. This familiar punishment shocks her, and she soon realizes that the boy is the former hero, followed by worship on bended knees. Although she recognizes Setsu, she cannot understand why he looks completely different. It turns out that when he fought the Demon King last time, he inexplicably went back to his world with all his memories and strength retained, and became an ordinary high school student. One day, when Setsu was chatting with his classmate Yuhi, a magic array suddenly appeared in the classroom. Everyone was frightened to see the strange portal, while Setsu knew that the other world was summoning him. With a flash of light, Setsu and his classmates were sent to another world, where they suddenly encountered some demon soldiers. As the demons began to attack, everyone was running away other than Setsu. Just as a demon was about to attack him, Yuhi, the girl who had a crush on Setsu, hugged him to block the attack. Fortunately, Setsu defeated the demon with just one finger before Yuhi was hit. She hadn't figured out what has happened when Setsu took her and other classmates to flee away. Just then, the soldiers of the human kingdom rushed to the battlefield, blocking the demons for the students. The commander of the kingdom, Elka, then arrived on the battlefield, ordering all students to retreat to safety. After this, the king of the kingdom received the students. They were treated as heroes from another world. 5 years ago, there had been a hero from Earth, and he helped the kingdom defeat the demons. However, he had disappeared since then. Not long ago, the demons reappeared, while these students followed to show up, which made the royal family of the kingdom believe that they were the heroes who could fight the demons. Therefore, Setsu and his classmates began to train their fighting capacity under the arrangement of the royal family. They must work hard to learn swordsmanship and magic to survive the battle against the demons. But Setsu didn't think he needed training, so he sneaked away. That's when Elka discovered Setsu and ordered him to go back to training. Unexpectedly, Setsu provoked her, saying that only if she could beat him would he follow her orders. Hearing this, Elka was determined to teach Setsu a lesson, only to be defeated by Setsu. Now, Elka finally recognizes Setsu as her acquaintance. Kneeling to him and addressing him as master, she even asks him to sit on her back. She seems to be obsessed with Setsu. It turns out that Setsu is the strongest hero who disappeared. Last time, his strongest enemy was Toma. When Setsu encountered the demons with his classmates, he could feel Toma's magic. He vows to totally defeat Toma this time and then travel around the world. Then the king calls a meeting. 5 years ago, with the help of Setsu, humans signed a peace treaty with the demon race. But now they have taken the initiative to attack humans. So the king decides to go to war with the demons again. For this, Yuhi has been training hard, and she has mastered elementary magic. In fact, Setsu doesn't want humans to go to war with the demons again, and he believes that the demon race does not want it either. All this is likely to be Toma's conspiracy, so Setsu asks his former teammates to help him delay the war, while he will go investigate and stop it on his own. But before that, Setsu must get his former weapon first, so he sneaks into the palace with his teammates. They stun the guards and manage to get Setsu's weapon, a huge sword. On the same day, Setsu says goodbye to his teammates. Just then, Yuhi suddenly comes to the gate for Setsu. She thinks it is dangerous for Setsu to leave alone and wants to go with him. Setsu can only reveal to Yuhi that this is his second visit to this world. He promises to Yuhi that when she becomes stronger, he will take her on adventures. Then, Setsu leaves the kingdom and embarks on a perilous journey alone. Many years ago, there was a well-known jewelry craftsman who lived with his granddaughter Ruri. He made top-quality jewelry, but he was eccentric, as he was reluctant to sell his work to people who couldn't understand its real value. One day, a young adventurer wanted to buy a jewelry, but the craftsman thought the adventurer was too young and unknowledgeable, thus rejecting to sell it to him. It wasn't until the adventurer came up with a lot of money that the craftsman agreed to the deal. Later, the craftsman died, and his granddaughter Ruri, after attending the funeral, decided to fulfill her grandfather's last wish. She set off with a lot of luggage. However, she soon encounters a giant wild boar as she drives a carriage through the forest. Just as Ruri is about to be eaten, Setsu shows up, defeating the monster and freeing her. It turns out Setsu was on his way to the demon continent and happened to meet Ruri being attacked by the monster. He then reminds Ruri that it's dangerous for her to travel alone, to which Ruri agrees, but she couldn't find a proper bodyguard. Therefore, she proposes to hire Setsu, who rejects her as he has more important business, but he agrees to escort her to the next town. Setsu asks Ruri to ditch her luggage and leave only the most important item, so Ruri takes only one bag, which contains the last precious work of her grandfather. Soon after, they arrive in a prosperous port city. Setsu has been to the city 5 years ago, which was relatively undeveloped back then. It wasn't until humans and demons signed a peace treaty did it begin to flourish as the nearest city to the demon continent. Ruri's destination turns out to be the demon continent, but now nobody is willing to escort her there as the war between humans and demons may break out at any time. Setsu also tries to persuade her to give up her plan because it's too dangerous to go to the demon continent now. However, Ruri is stubborn, continuously asking captains to send her there, only to be rejected by all. What's worse, she encounters several greedy knights, who often bully local citizens, not to mention a young businesswoman like Ruri, so they use security checks as an excuse to demand an inspection of Ruri's visa and luggage. There is nothing wrong with Ruri's visa, but Ruri doesn't want to give her bag to them because she knows the knights will definitely snatch it away once they find it valuable. Seeing Ruri reject handing over her bag, they know there must be some valuable items inside, so they try to snatch it. Just then, Setsu shows up and stops them. Generally, knights must have a permit to check citizens' bags, so Setsu asks them to show permits, which these knights do not have. More and more people gather to see what's going on, so the knights dare not fight Setsu, otherwise they may be punished for causing riots. In the end, they can only leave in anger. To show her gratitude to Setsu, Ruri invites him to dinner. Ruri is actually a little surprised, because Setsu, as an adventurer, turns out to be more familiar with the laws of the kingdom than she is. Setsu explains that it was one of his old friends who told him that. As Ruri didn't find anyone willing to send her to the demon continent, she decides to buy a ship directly tomorrow to complete this important task. Setsu is touched by Ruri's determination, and as he is also heading to the demon continent, he offers to take Ruri with him. Hearing this, Ruri is quite happy. That night, they check into a hotel. Before Ruri goes to take a shower, she entrusts Setsu to take care of her important item, which turns out to be the jewelry Setsu bought before. Ruri tells Setsu that it was her grandfather's best work. For some reason, it was handed over to her grandfather for repair after the sale, but her grandfather passed away just after repairing it, so she needs to return the jewelry to its owner, which is also Grandpa's last wish. As Ruri is in the shower, Setsu checks the jewelry. He has given it to a demon girl, and if it was damaged, the demon girl was likely injured as well. Setsu is worried about this. That night, the knights they met during the day come to the hotel, trying to teach Setsu a lesson and loot Ruri's bag under the pretext of checking up on the hotel rooms. Setsu senses that in advance, so he flees with Ruri. The knights begin to pursue Setsu, who does not want to kill them, and thus instead of fighting back, he just keeps running. When they get to the edge of the city wall, where there is no exit, the knights think Setsu has to surrender to them now. To their surprise, Setsu directly jumps off the wall with Ruri, and the legendary monster, Leviathan, actually emerges from the sea and catches the two, taking them to the demon continent. Bewildered and surprised, the soldiers can only consider all this as an illusion. It turns out that in his previous life, Setsu became good friends with Leviathan, and with the help of Leviathan, he and Ruri soon arrive on the demon continent, where they're gonna encounter new challenges. As soon as they arrive, a huge octopus monster shows up, forcing them to fall into a battle. Setsu knows that Leviathan won't lose to it, so he just watches the exciting battle as a bystander. As expected, Leviathan soon wins the battle, and transforms into human form, questioning why Setsu didn't help her. Setsu feels a little guilty, so he makes deep-fried squid rings with one of the tentacles of the octopus monster, hoping that Leviathan will forgive him after eating it. Leviathan likes the snack, so she forgives Setsu. She is then surprised to learn that Ruri comes here to give the jewelry back to its owner, who turns out to be the demon lord. Ruri didn't know about it, and she now feels shocked and a bit scared. When Ruri and Setsu set off, Leviathan wants to return to the ocean, while Setsu invites her to travel with him. She thinks about it for a while and accepts the invitation. Just then, several demon kids come over. Setsu shares the fried squid rings with them, who happily eat them up and then ask Setsu if he can help transport the octopus to their village. Setsu grants their request. The main industry of the children's village was fishing. Recently, because of the appearance of the octopus monster, the villagers have been unable to fish, and famine seems to be approaching. So when Setsu brings the body of the octopus to them, they are so happy and grateful. That night, the villagers throw a big party for the arrival of Setsu and Leviathan. As they are happily enjoying the cuisine Setsu made, a demon general comes nearby. It turns out that when he saw the smoke and fire, he assumed the humans had begun to attack, thus rushing over to defend against the aggression. Meanwhile, Ruri and Leviathan are chatting, and Leviathan mentions Setsu's past. Many years ago, she and Setsu had an adventure together, which brought them to be close friends. She also reveals to Ruri that Setsu is the legendary hero. From Livia's expression, Ruri can tell she has fallen in love with Setsu. Just then, the demon general interrupts their conversation as he breaks into the village, only to find that the village is not attacked, but holding a party. After the party, the demon general apologizes to Leviathan and Setsu while asking them for help. It turns out that the demon lord will soon be forced to marry a human merchant. A month ago, humans sent soldiers to attack the demon continent, and although the demons eventually defeated those human soldiers, the demon lord did not want to go to war with humans, so a merchant offered that he could use his influence to stop the war, on the condition that the demon lord marry him. Setsu is surprised because he didn't expect a human merchant to be so influential, until he learns that the merchant is the richest man in mankind. What's worse, the merchant is very perverted. He does not really want to marry the demon lord, but intends to make her become his slave and satisfy his perverted desires. Setsu is so angry that he vows to sabotage the merchant's scheme and protect the demon lord from harm. Therefore, Setsu and Leviathan set off that night, without Ruri as she is too slow. The wedding is about to begin, so they have to rush to the demon lord's castle as fast as possible. On the way to the castle, they encounter a lot of monsters, which of course pose no threats to them. After defeating the monsters, Setsu begins to analyze recent events. Both humans and demons have been attacked by each other, and both believe that it is the other who wants to start a war. Apparently, a third party has manipulated a group of soldiers to start a war between humans and demons. Added to the fact that the merchant may get a lot of benefits from this war, he is very suspicious. Setsu decides to investigate the conspiracy after sabotaging the wedding. Soon, Setsu and Leviathan reach the demon lord's castle. Many years ago, the castle was a forbidden place for humans as demons and humans were always at war, which did not end until a human hero appeared. After the war, the hero gave the demon lord a jewelry as a gift, which she cherished a lot because she had fallen in love with the hero, who turns out to be Setsu's previous life. Since he was back to Earth, the demon lord has never seen him again, thus falling into deep grief. Anyway, the truce brought the kingdom to be peaceful and prosperous, and the demon lord was very pleased with this. Not long after, the demon lord found the jewelry suddenly cracked, so she commissioned her most trusted general to travel to the human realm to find craftsmen who could repair it. That craftsman was Ruri's grandfather. Before she could get the repaired jewelry, some human soldiers attacked the demon continent, which shocked and enraged the demon lord. But instead of declaring a war with humans, she remained calm, because she was aware that another war would bring both sides terrible casualties. Just when the demon lord was troubled, the richest merchant of mankind suddenly visited. The merchant offered to marry the demon lord, and promised that he would use his influence to prevent the outbreak of war. But the merchant is a real pervert. His real intention was to make the demon lord a slave to satisfy his perverted desires. He took out a necklace instead of a wedding ring, asking the demon lord to put it on so that she would be controlled by the cursed necklace and obey whatever he orders. All the demon ministers did not agree with the marriage, preferring to go to war with humans. But to maintain the peace, the demon lord had no other choice. In the end, she decided to sacrifice her happiness to save the entire kingdom. When the demon general heard about this, he tried to convince the demon lord not to do this. All the demon soldiers were ready to go to war for the sake of the demon lord, but she believed this was why she must marry the merchant. She couldn't bear to see her fellows killed or injured in the war again. Also, the peaceful coexistence of the demon race with humans can be regarded as the legacy left by the hero, who she loves deeply, so she didn't want to destroy the peace. It seems the demon lord has made up her mind, but when she was alone, she couldn't help but cry sadly. Learning that the demon lord had agreed to marry him, the merchant immediately reported it to a mysterious magician, whose master turned out to be the one sending soldiers to attack humans and demons. The magician told the merchant that the war would not be stopped because his master had more plans to take. On the day of the wedding ceremony, the demon lord is in a white wedding dress. This is supposed to be a happy moment, but she looks very sad. When it's time to exchange rings, the merchant takes out the slave necklace, trying to put it onto the demon lord in public. Then, she will become a slave to the merchant and must obey his orders unconditionally. At this critical moment, Setsu breaks the window, rushes into the wedding scene, and stops the merchant. Seeing this, the magician's men begin to attack Setsu, while Leviathan immediately counterattacks, defeating all of them. The magician then uses a spell to attack Leviathan, who is good at fighting in the water, and is weakened a lot on the land. Therefore, she is defeated by the magician. Thankfully, Setsu rushes to attack the magician and protect Leviathan. The magician is also quite strong, and although he cannot defeat Setsu, he still finds an opportunity to escape. As the magician escapes, the demon lord hugs Setsu tightly. Although the current Setsu looks different from his previous life, she still recognized him instantly. Setsu is also happy to reunite with the demon lord, but he can't stay in the demon continent for too long, because he felt the magic used by the magician was quite like Toma's, which shows that the magician must be Toma's subordinate. Setsu intends to travel to the beast realm to warn the king of the beast men to watch out for Toma's conspiracy. Before he sets off, Ruri shows up here. She gives the jewelry to Setsu and asks him to hand it on to the Demon Lord. When he once again presents it to the Demon Lord, she is very touched. The Demon Lord desperately wants to travel with Setsu, but she has too many important government affairs to deal with and must stay in her kingdom and protect her people. Meanwhile, she invites Ruri to open a jewelry store in the Demon Continent, and Ruri happily accepts the invitation, but it means she has to leave Setsu's team. Next, Setsu will travel with Leviathan to the land of the Beast Men, unveiling his new adventure. Before Setsu embarks on his new journey, let's take a look at Yuhi's story. Yuhi first met Setsu 10 years ago, when he had just moved into her neighborhood. He was a 6-year-old kid back then, with a powerful hero's soul. Even though he was reluctant to play with Yuhi, he had always taken care of her like an older brother, so Yuhi gradually fell in love with the gentle and wise boy. Setsu's intelligence far exceeds that of his peers, so his grades were excellent, but Yuhi was just an average one in the class, unable to get into the same high school as Setsu. Yuhi was very troubled by this. Learning of that, Setsu offered to help her study, and Yuhi was finally admitted to the best high school. Yuhi has always been grateful to Setsu, so she desperately hopes that she can repay Setsu. When Yuhi came to the other world, she has been training very hard. She wants to get stronger as fast as she can so that she can help Setsu in battles. With this determination, Yuhi approaches Setsu's former companions in the hope that they can offer her special training. Setsu's companions can see how determined Yuhi is, and agree to her request, ready to train her hard. Yuhi is talented in magic, and she is already the strongest among her classmates besides Setsu. But Elka sees that Yuhi still has a serious weakness. That is, she is unwilling to kill her opponent. When fighting with the monster, Yuhi obviously has defeated it but is unwilling to give it a fatal blow. Elka tells Yuhi that war is brutal and that she must have the determination to kill the enemies in order to survive on the battlefield. But Yuhi disagrees, insisting that not all enemies should be killed. That's when another of Setsu's partners enlightens Yuhi. He tells Yuhi that everyone has their own rules, and if Yuhi thinks it's wrong to kill, she can stick to her principle. But at the same time, she needs to become stronger, because it is more difficult to win without killing in battles. Listening to it, Yuhi soon makes up her mind. She starts training harder to become stronger, and her intention is not to kill, but to win without slaughtering. She wants to be strong enough and have better control over the power of magic so that she can defeat enemies while keeping them alive. Elka approves of Yuhi's rules, and she believes that Yuhi is similar to Setsu, powerful and kind. Eventually, she will become a strong hero like Setsu. Setsu and Leviathan left the Demon Continent for the Beastman Kingdom. During the trip, Leviathan has been snacking and seems very lazy. Setsu thinks that Leviathan is too relaxed, warning her that there is still a long way to go, and they should be vigilant. But Leviathan asks him to relax, because she doesn't think they would encounter any enemies. Just then, the carriage suddenly stops. It turns out that 2 demon girls also want to ride in the carriage. When Setsu sees one of the girls, he is surprised to discover that she is his former student, Alize. Setsu taught Alize how to fight in his previous life, and they were very close back then. The other girl is Amel, a friend of Alize's. After Setsu reveals his being resummoned, Alize finally understands why Setsu looks different. He then invites Alize to travel with him to the Beastman Kingdom, but gets rejected, because she still has a task to complete. Now Alize is an adventurer, and she often takes on dangerous tasks. Not long ago, she received a mission to hunt down a dragon in a village, where she met Amel. The village was often attacked by the dragon, and with each attack someone went missing, so the villagers hired Alize to drive the dragon away. During then, Alize lived with Amel, who was an orphan adopted by a man from this village 2 years ago. However, the man disappeared after a dragon attack, so Amel's house had a spare room. Alize felt great sympathy after hearing what happened to Amel. They became good friends in the process of getting along. Alize tells Setsu that the mission wasn't just about hunting down the dragon. Usually, when humans are preyed on by dragons, some blood or other clues will be left at the scene. However, there was nothing left when the people in the village went missing. Even stranger, as Alize managed to defeat the dragon outside of the village and returned, she found the entire village empty. All villagers disappeared, except Amel. So Alize is trying to find the missing villagers, which is why she can't follow Setsu to the Beastman Kingdom. Leviathan speculates that there may be an evil magician in the village who turned the villagers into zombies, but Setsu thinks this is unlikely to happen, because there would definitely be traces if they were turned into zombies. Leviathan then says perhaps a siren has seduced the people and made them leave the village, while Amel dismisses this speculation, because with her excellent sense of smell, she would have found it out based on the fishy smell the monsters from the sea have. As she finishes the words, Amel suddenly realizes this may hurt Leviathan's self-esteem, and hurriedly explains that Leviathan has no fishy smell though she comes from the sea. Just then, Setsu has another guess that it must be aliens who captured the villagers. No one else knows what aliens are, and Setsu explains it to them. Of course, this is just his joke. He does not really believe there would be aliens causing the disappearance. To figure out the truth, Setsu starts to analyze it seriously. Dragons generally do not prey on humans because of hunger, as they prefer wild or domestic animals. But dragons are easily attracted to magic, so if someone used magic near the dragon, it would start attacking. Therefore, those villagers were surely not preyed on by the dragon, and their disappearance was the reason why the dragon attacked the village. Someone used magic to kidnap the villagers, and this person turns out to be Amel. When talking about Siren just now, Amel emphasized that Leviathan didn't smell fishy, but Leviathan, as the most powerful monster, looks no different from ordinary demons after she transforms. Even Alize didn't know who Leviathan was, while Amel immediately indicated she was from the sea. Facing the accusation, Amel no longer hides her true identity, immediately turning into a dragon to attack Setsu. Setsu defeats Amel with his companions, and Alize kills her with her own hands. After that, Setsu and Leviathan continue their journey, while Alize returns to the village to find the missing villagers. However, she encounters Amel once again. It turns out what she killed was just a doll with magic power, and the real Amel is Toma's subordinate, Meluer. She kidnapped the villagers to turn them into magic dolls, ordering them to attack human and demon soldiers. In such a situation, Alize will most likely be kidnapped and turned into a doll. On the border of the Beastman continent, there live two sisters. The younger sister Miniko is sick, so the older sister Shiraniko has to work hard to earn money for her treatment. The inhabitants here are kind and they often give material assistance to Shiraniko, who is very touched by it. However, Miniko's illness is very serious, and even though with a lot of help, her condition keeps worsening. Meanwhile, Setsu and Leviathan arrive here. To take Setsu here from the demon continent, Leviathan transformed back into her monster form, and is exhausted as a result. Setsu then decides to pay for a ship to take them from the border to the capital of the Beastman continent, but no one is willing to accept Setsu's hire. Leaving with no other choice, Setsu suggests staying in this border town for a night so that Leviathan can have a good rest, regain her strength and take him to the capital the next day. The local innkeeper, also a black market merchant, who Shiraniko buys the medicine for Miniko from, often posts quests that Shiraniko can take on to earn money. On this day, she gives Shiraniko an assassination mission with a very high commission. By completing this task, Shiraniko can find a better doctor to treat Miniko, so she immediately takes it. Then, we see Setsu and Leviathan come to the hotel, where they book a double-bed room. Shiraniko is surprised to discover that Setsu is her target. Shiraniko is kind indeed, so she is hesitant at first. She does not want to kill, but Miniko's condition has been getting worse, and she finally decides to complete the task. At night, the innkeeper lets Shiraniko in. Shiraniko is grateful to the innkeeper who has been taking care of her and Miniko. Before taking the key, she promises to repay the innkeeper when she gets the commission. The innkeeper is so happy, and agrees to celebrate with Shiraniko when the mission is completed. Shiraniko then sneaks into Setsu's room, attacking him. However, what she attacked was just the quilt, and the real Setsu has been ready for dealing with the assassination. He kicks Shiraniko out of the hotel and defeats her. As Setsu stuns Shiraniko, he senses the curse magic on her. Through the curse magic, Setsu finds Shiraniko's home, learning that she was taking on the assassination mission in order to heal her sister. Actually, according to Setsu, Miniko is not sick at all, but is just cursed, and he can help remove the curse. Hearing this, Shiraniko is so grateful that she promises to do anything for Setsu if he cures Miniko. Then he summons a special sword with a mouth that is capable of devouring curses. Just then, the innkeeper attacks Setsu, and Shiraniko blocks the attack for Setsu with her own body. It turns out that the innkeeper is Toma's subordinate. It was she who cursed Miniko so that she could slave Shiraniko to do anything. As Setsu is removing Miniko's curse, Leviathan takes over the innkeeper. The innkeeper excels at ninjutsu-like skills, creating copies to attack Leviathan, who on the other hand, specializes in water spells, summoning a large amount of water and destroying all the copies in an instant. Soon after, Leviathan defeats the innkeeper. Shiraniko can't understand why the innkeeper would do such an evil thing. Though defeated this time, the innkeeper is still confident and loyal to her master, Toma, claiming that Toma will eventually become God and destroy the world. Finishing her words, the innkeeper takes out a ball and disappears in glaring lights. Meanwhile, Setsu has removed the curse from Miniko and takes her to Shiraniko, who can't help but hug Miniko tightly, shedding tears of happiness. The next day, Setsu and Leviathan get on a boat willing to take them to the capital city. Leviathan didn't rest well last night due to the fight, and is still exhausted, so taking a boat is a better choice for them. To repay Setsu, Shiraniko and Miniko volunteer to be his guide to the capital of the Beastman continent. In this way, Setsu has 2 more comrades, and they will embark on the rest of their journey together. Setsu once lived in Beastman continent in his previous life and became very good friends with Roa, the princess of beastmen. All beastmen worship strength and love the strong. When they were defeated by humans, they made humans their masters, and even Princess Roa recognized Setsu as her master, but he was not used to it. Toma created a conflict between humans and demons, which has also been informed to the king and ministers of the Beastman continent, and they are discussing about it. Just then, both the king and Roa pick up a familiar smell. It turns out that Setsu has arrived at the gate, but the palace guards would not let him in, because they don't know him. Even though Setsu explains he is the king's friend, they don't believe his words. Luckily, Roa soon comes outside to greet Setsu. Although his appearance is different from the past, Roa recognizes him by smell and tries to attack Setsu, which is actually a unique way of greeting among beastmen, while Setsu instantly subdues her. After then, they walk into the palace, with Roa holding Setsu tightly and Setsu stroking her chin, which makes Roa very excited. Seeing this, Shiraniko and Miniko feel very jealous since they also want to be Setsu's pets. Then they visit the king, who also recognizes Setsu and attacks him. As Setsu subdues him, both of them let out a cheerful laugh, enjoying the funny way of greeting. Later, Setsu tells the king about Toma's plan to destroy the world. Hearing this, the king decides to help Setsu, but he can only dispatch a representative since Toma may attack the Beastman continent, and as the king, he must stay in the continent. Roa then offers to follow Setsu. However, a Beastman general rejects to let Roa leave. Being ambitious and intending to marry the princess, the general takes Setsu as a rival in love and hates him very much. To keep Roa by his side, the general proposes a duel with Setsu. Since Beastmen take duels very seriously, Setsu has to accept the challenge. Roa is very happy since she doesn't like the general, and if Setsu wins, she can travel with him, while Setsu's party has mixed feelings, knowing that Setsu's harem is about to welcome a new member, Roa. At night, considering the general would be defeated, Roa decides to persuade him to give up the duel. However, the general claims that he has gained a tattoo that converts willpower into strength recently, so he insists on fighting a duel with Setsu. The next day, the duel begins as scheduled. At first, the general does not use the willpower of the tattoo, and he is far inferior to Setsu in terms of speed and strength. Even though transforming into his beast form, the general is still quickly defeated by Setsu. Unwilling to throw in the towel, the angry Beastman general begins to use the willpower of the tattoo, which takes his jealousy and mutates him. Soon, the general loses his mind and becomes crazy and brutal. Setsu then confirms that the tattoo is one of Toma's curses, and the general was likely to get it from Toma. Setsu immediately takes up arms and confronts the mad Beastman general. He cuts off the general's arm, but it quickly regenerates. Knowing that he must eliminate Toma's curses to defeat the general, he prepares to summon the sword devouring the curses. Just then, Toma's astral form appears. Knowing that the Beastman general cannot defeat Setsu, Toma kills the general brutally and then communicates with Setsu through the general's body. Surprisingly, instead of hating Setsu, Toma has a perverted crush on him. Thrilled to see Setsu, Toma reveals his grand plan to kill everyone and create a new world where only he and Setsu exist, so they can fall in love and live together. Angrily, Setsu swears that he will stop Toma's perverted plan and protect the world. Soon after, Toma's astral form vanishes, leaving the general's body behind. Witnessing Toma's perversion and madness, the Beastmen promise to support Setsu in his day. Roa will also join Setsu's team and they will immediately set off to stop Toma's plot. So what happened between Setsu and Toma? It turns out that Toma is also an earthling. 10 years ago, Setsu and Toma were summoned to another world together. The king of the human kingdom wanted them to help humanity win the war against other races. Setsu was brave and strong, while Toma was introverted and weak. As a result, Setsu quickly adapted to life in another world. He began to train hard for the upcoming war. But Toma was very uncomfortable with this world. He neither wanted to fight nor go to war. Setsu tried to cheer him up, and together they train in the hope of stopping the war. In the process, they became good friends. With Setsu's encouragement, Toma gradually became more active. After a period of training, Setsu's strength had greatly improved. He wanted to leave the kingdom, tour the world and try to stop the war. Toma was not strong enough to fight the enemy at that time, so instead of leaving with Setsu, he stayed in the kingdom to continue training. On Setsu's departure, Toma promised Setsu that he would try his best to become stronger, and one day he would be able to help Setsu stop the war. After that, Setsu set off with a few teammates. As he promised, Toma trained very hard. He grew to be stronger and stronger, and finally became a general of the kingdom. Toma started to look forward to reuniting with Setsu, as he was finally strong enough to stand by his side. Toma believed that once Setsu returned to the kingdom, they would fight together and win the war. One day, Toma led his soldiers in a fierce battle. They encountered demon soldiers at an ancient ruin, and the battle was so brutal that Toma was the only one survived. In the deepest part of the ancient ruin was a cursed necklace. It saw through the hidden madness in Toma's heart, so it tricked him into becoming its believer. The necklace promised to grant Toma the strongest power to help him fulfill his wishes. Toma's wish was to adventure with Setsu, fight together, and return to Earth together. At first, Toma was not seduced, believing that with enough strength, this wish could be fulfilled, and his strength was already strong enough. But then the coming news broke Toma. It turned out that the war was over. Demons, beastmen, and humans were about to send representatives to sign a peace agreement, and the person who facilitated this agreement was none other than Setsu. During his travels, he met partners from different races and ended the war through them. In Toma's eyes, Setsu had betrayed him by doing so. They agreed to fight together, while Setsu ended the war alone. Setsu gained a lot of partners, while Toma was not one of them. Toma felt disappointed, jealous and angry. On the night of the peace negotiation, everyone was celebrating the arrival of peace, but Toma wasn't happy at all. He came to Setsu, trying one last time for his dream, for which he was willing to accept the condition proposed by the evil necklace. Toma told Setsu that he knew there was a way to get them back to Earth. However, Setsu did not accept Toma's invitation. He had just ended the war, and hoped to continue exploring this world and enjoy life here. At this moment, Toma was completely seduced by the evil necklace. He believed that it were Setsu's partners who made Setsu reluctant to return to Earth with him, so he decided to kill everyone so that he could return to Earth with Setsu. Setsu immediately stopped the crazy Toma, and a fierce battle broke out. Toma's wish was to return to Earth with Setsu, and the evil necklace granted it. As a result, Toma was severely injured by Setsu, who was then sent back to Earth by the evil necklace. Wounded, Toma escaped to the ancient ruin where the evil necklace located. He felt very lonely and desperate. At this time, he felt another group of people as desperate as he was. In a mysterious research institute, a group of mad scientists were doing all kinds of cruel experiments with a few slaves. The slaves were desperate, and their emotions were discovered by the evil necklace. It made Toma feel these emotions and ordered him to save them. So Toma attacked the institute, killed all the scientists, and rescued the slaves. Toma then invited the slaves to destroy this desperate world together. These slaves hated the world too, so they all joined Toma's team and started helping Toma create a new war. After Setsu was summoned for the second time, Toma's injuries finally healed. They are about to embark on a showdown. Because of Toma's provocation, the rulers of the human kingdom finally decided to start a war with the demons. Setsu's former teammates have to join the war, but knowing that it is Toma's plot, they agree not to kill the demon soldiers as far as possible. Setsu's classmates also join the army. On the battlefield, they show great combat effectiveness, but their weakness is their lack of experience in war, so they often panic excessively when facing the enemy. This leads them to want to kill the captured demon soldiers. Fortunately, Yuhi convinces them to remain kind and upright, keeping the demon soldiers alive. Due to the large gap in strength, the human army quickly achieves victory. At this moment, Setsu's companion Alize shows up on the battlefield. We see her summon a lot of doll soldiers, ordering them to kill both humans and demons. It turns out that she has been hypnotized by Melure, and is now a killing maniac. Setsu's teammates are good friends with Alize, but she no longer recognizes them. In this case, they have to fight Alize, and they also want to find a chance to beat Melure and get Alize back to normal. Melure summons many monsters, which are quickly defeated. Even Alize is knocked unconscious. Then, Elka pierces Melure's body with her sword, destroying her magic power. However, Melure's body has been modified to have a special ability. She then uses the rest of her magic power to summon a chimera, which is more powerful than the monsters she summoned before, and everyone is in a bitter battle. At this point, Alize wakes up and regains her senses. She suddenly jumps on Chimera and kills Melure. After Melure died, Chimera loses its magic power and turns into a stone. This battle puts Setsu's teammates into extreme exhaustion and they struggle to keep fighting. But Toma's other subordinate appears, with a scar on his face, and he seems to be stronger than Melure. Now only Yuhi still has the stamina to continue fighting, so she takes the initiative to face the enemy alone. The battle is very dangerous, and Yuhi is ready to sacrifice her life. At this moment, Setsu finally rushes back from the Beastman continent. His appearance regains hope for everyone. Yuhi is so excited to see Setsu that she steps forward and hugs him tightly, offering to let Setsu sit on her. This is supposed to be Elka's perverted fetish, and Elka actually taught this to Yuhi. Instead of granting her request, Setsu asks Yuhi to retreat to the rear, because he needs to fight Toma's men first. The strongest of Toma's subordinates is a man with a scar on his face, and let's name him Scar Man. Setsu fights with the Scar Man, while his companions deal with Toma's other subordinates. Among Toma's subordinates is a beast girl named Kuroinu. She has previously deceived Shiraniko and Miniko, and this time they will be rivals. Kuroinu is a very powerful and ruthless assassin who excels at quickly killing opponents with her ninja throw. Luckily, Shiraniko and Miniko work together so well that they dodge Kuroinu's attack and injure her. Just when they are about to win the battle, Kuroinu suddenly grows 4 new arms. It turns out that her body has been experimentally modified, so she has many flexible and powerful hidden arms. Miniko and Shiraniko are quickly defeated by Kuroinu, but they don't lose because they also have hidden powerful moves. They are able to merge to become a super powerful beast fighter. After merging, Miniko and Shiraniko are stronger than Kuroinu in terms of strength and speed. Even though Kuroinu grows more arms, she is still defeated. Miniko and Shiraniko are not happy after the victory, because they feel sympathetic to Kuroinu. Only an end to the war could prevent such a tragedy from happening again. On the other side of the battlefield, a muscular man attacks the camp of the demon army. He is also Toma's subordinate, with his body modified. Roa is responsible for fighting this man. She easily knocks him down, but her fist is quite painful. It turns out that the body of the muscular man is as hard as an iron after being transformed. Though Roa is strong, it is still difficult for her to hurt him. The man mocks the beast men for being savage beasts, which instantly angers Roa. She angrily attacks the man, but is injured as a result. The muscular man not only has a rock-hard body, but he can also transform his body into iron dust. He throws the iron dust to knock Roa down, but he doesn't win, because Roa actually becomes stronger. This is the ability of the beast men. The more severe their injuries are, the stronger they become. Roa is even willing to sacrifice her life in order to defend the honor of the beast men. She attacks the muscular man again, and even if her body is pierced, she does not stop her attacks. In the end, both Roa and the muscular man are mortally wounded, and they are about to die together. But Roa's strong will touches the man, so he chooses to heal Roa with the only magic he has left. Eventually, Roa's wounds heal, and she survives, but the muscular man died. Roa expresses her gratitude to this venerable enemy. At this moment, Toma's subordinates are left with only the Scar Man, and he is still undefeated. He attacks Setsu several times, but gets easily blocked by Setsu. Setsu's strength is obviously much stronger than that of the Scar Man. To defeat Setsu, he uses a special spell that increases combat power at the cost of life force, creating a special set of armor, which highly improves his strength. Moreover, this set of armor also has a strong defense, blocking Setsu's attack. The Scar Man takes the opportunity to attack Setsu and successfully injures him. Setsu hasn't encountered such a strong opponent for a long while, and he counterattacks with his strongest slash, which shatters the armor, making the Scar Man completely lose the possibility of winning. Even so, he still does not want to admit defeat, as he is ready to die in battle. So he attacks Setsu again, and Setsu has to kill him reluctantly. Now all of Toma's subordinates have been defeated. Next, Setsu will have a final battle with Toma. Toma is at the royal palace of the demon continent, with the intention to assassinate the demon lord and thus deepen the hatred between humans and demons. Thankfully, Setsu arrives in time to stop Toma, and a fierce battle ensues. Setsu and Toma are the strongest two in the world, and their battle is fantastic. Setsu is powerful himself and is good at close combat, while Toma, relying on the mana, is better at attacking opponents from a distance. Setsu gets close to Toma and knocks his weapon away. At this moment, Setsu could have killed Toma with his sword, but he doesn't. Instead, he just punches Toma with his fists, and Toma takes the opportunity to distance himself again. He then transforms his weapon into a cannon and shoots Setsu at a distance, while Setsu dodges all the attacks. Discovering that the weapon cannot hit Setsu, Toma then transforms it into a machine gun shooting dense bullets, which Setsu has difficulty dodging, and has to use his magic to fend off the attacks. He then summons a sword capable of devouring cursed energy, taking in Toma's attacks entirely. This battle goes on for a long time, and since he still can't defeat Setsu, Toma begins to use magic of the evil with his eyes turning red. The magic he exudes seems strange to Setsu, who instantly realizes that Toma has been controlled by the evil. The evil is so powerful that Setsu can no longer block Toma's attacks, which he has to constantly dodge, causing Toma to change his target to Setsu's partners. Though Setsu tries to help his partners block Toma's attacks, they are hit anyway. Fortunately, they have enough magic power to protect themselves. Seeing this, Setsu is finally relieved, and he begins to attack Toma with all his might. When Setsu approaches Toma, he smashes his weapon and seriously wounds him. Toma falls from the air injured, but the evil actually heals Toma's injuries and makes him even more insane. Toma summons a more powerful weapon, and this time, his attack wounds Setsu. Setsu thus falls to the ground. Toma thinks he has won and seems very happy, but Setsu doesn't give up, imprisoning Toma with his magic powers, and then completely defeats the evil with his strongest blow. As the evil disappears, Toma finally regains his true nature, but he has committed too many crimes. Instead of killing Toma, Setsu decides to forgive him. At this moment, Toma feels so guilty and touched. After that, Toma is put in jail. Consulting with the leaders of many kingdoms, Setsu decides to let Toma use all his mana to teleport Setsu's classmates back to Earth. As for Toma himself, he can also return to Earth with them, but he doesn't. After the teleporting, Toma embarks on a journey on his own, hoping to help as many people as possible to atone for the sins he has committed. Setsu and Yuhi also chose to stay in this world, where they can enjoy a leisure life they want without the heavy responsibility of saving the world. Setsu and Yuhi visit their former friends together. Leviathan remains responsible for maintaining peace at sea, and the demon continent has become more and more prosperous under the rule of the demon lord. Ruri opened a mobile restaurant here that specializes in human cuisine, while Shiraniko and Miniko become Roa's bodyguards, and together they will work to make the Beastman continent better and better. After the visit, Setsu and Yuhi will continue their journey, which is gonna be blissful and serene, perfect for the young couple. That brings the end of Summon to Another World. Again, as Setsu came to the other world for the second time, he finally made up for his previous regrets. Toma used to be his friend, but later became an enemy due to some accidents and misunderstandings. Thanks to Setsu's efforts, Toma eventually regains his kind nature and pays for his crimes. This time, Setsu will not be sent back to Earth, and he can continue on his previously unfinished journey with Yuhi. I think it's a really perfect ending. If you enjoyed the anime, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Also, leave a comment below if you want me to recap more anime of this type. See you in my next video.